Call me Shape. And today I'm reacting to the first time I've ever spoke with Kevin Samuels back in 2021, and he told me this. Let's get right into it.
Hello,
You hear
how are
me?
you?
I'm doing good. What's going
Good.
on, Mr. Samuels? Godfather, what's going on?
Uh, Not much. What do you got for me on the topic?
I think the problem with the church, especially like the Christian church, is that um words are results. We see a lot of hypocrites.
Okay. What does that mean?
Well, we see hypocrites meaning like a lot of the people that actually go to the church are not actually practicing what the church preaches.
Okay. Such as, can you have an example of what you're
So
talking about?
people, it seems like the church is a place to run to when you need to repent for a sin.
Okay.
hmm And
Uh,
so, like most people that I know, like the church is not the place to find like the holiest woman or the woman that's like the best suited for marriage.
well, so um, how does the church, so if that's the case, then how does the church go about reclaiming men?
I think they need to have good leadership where the men feel like people are being honest, that these are actually valuable people. Maybe um, qualifying people to go to church. I know church wasn't welcome everybody, but it seems
Hmm.
like
How old are you, by the way?
the actual 33.
Would you be willing to take on a leadership role in the church that was reclaiming men?
I would if I felt like it would work. I would.
What do you mean if you felt like it would work?
Well, I think it all depends on the woman's behavior in order to work.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm granting the argument. Okay, I'm granting the argument that we understand the structural problems of the church today. But I'm telling you
Mhm.
something I often hear. I often hear us being able to say that's the problem, but then somebody else needs to fix it. Well, no, we can identify the problem. Are you willing to step in and do your part so it can be fixed?
I mean, I already got my purpose. My purpose is not devoted to actually fixing the church. That's not like
Well, I didn't,
what I set my life
so
up to do.
but do you see the paradox? The paradox is
I mean, yeah,
so the
I could notice
paradox.
a
So hold on,
problem
hold
that
on, hold on, hold
exists.
on, hold on. The paradox is
I was about to piss him off. He was like, "Don't cut me off." He was about to boot me, y'all. Yo, it's funny to watch this conversation now because I won't lie. Back then, everything I'm talking about from the church was from the outsider looking in. I wasn't involved in church. I wasn't reading the book. I didn't have the Bible like something that's like next to me. Like I read the Bible daily. Like it wasn't something I was doing at the time. So even myself, I wasn't really practicing the word. And I had no foundation. But the reason why I didn't at the time is because most of the people I knew that went to church were the worst sinners you could find. And that's kind of what I'm expressing to him here. Like, look, man, like, you want me to go to church to be a leader and to lead men. And I don't think this is going to work because the people I know that go to church, they're not even following what the church is doing. Why would they follow me? That was my thoughts of it. My thoughts have evolved since then. Now I've realized that, I was saying that the church will qualify people. Not that they should qualify the people going to the church, but you should kind of qualify the people leading the church, right? Like, and there should be requirements to lead the church based on the word, not based on religion. So I'm a big advocate for churches preaching the actual gospel, right? The gospel, the kingdom gospel, right? The same gospel that Jesus spread, right? But I didn't know that at the time. Like all the things I'm talking about now, it's actually something that I've developed in the last 6, 7, 8 months from vigorous study and doing Bible studies. I Bible studied 7 days a week. Now, at the time, I wasn't doing any of that. So I wish Kevin Samuels could see what I'm doing now, and I'm actually reading from the Bible. I'm actually having community fellowship with my subscribers or the people that watch my content, right? My viewers. It's a different story now. And if I had to reapproach this conversation now, I'd give him a far different answer, way different answer. But Kevin was very kind enough to say that, hey, look, man, maybe you should do something about it. And so maybe you'll be happy to know that I'm doing something about it now. So it's good to kind of reflect on this to see where I was back in 2021. But in 2025, I have a complete different outlook, right? I don't have the blonde streaks in my hair anymore. I cut my hair, right? I shaved my head, which, by the way, I like it shaved better. The streaks are they were cool, but they kind of give you a look where some people might assume that you're immature. I was trying to be creative. People could view you as immature. And now I have a more professional look, and I have more of a respectable thing to say about church, and I can be more of a more value. So anyway, we're gonna let him continue speaking, and I'm react to it after he's done.
I mean, I could, yeah.
So the
I could
paradox.
notice a
So
problem that exists.
hold on. The paradox is, yes, there are problems. They're hypocrites.
Mm-hmm.
We're all hypocrites. We're all flawed. We're all fallen.
Mm-hmm.
There are no perfect people. And in the black community
Mm-hmm.
or any community, you're going to start with what you have. But see, one thing that I do have an issue with is just like we have women who will sit back and say the problem of men, but they're not willing to do any work on themselves. We also have men that are willing to say the problem is over there. And then when you ask them, oh, what are you prepared to do? Oh, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Well, then why are you in the conversation?
I'm a God-fearing man. I believe in the church, and I believe that the church has
faith
value.
without so God-fearing man, good. But if we're supposed to get anywhere as God-fearing men, faith without works is dead. Where's our work being done?
I mean, do you think the work needs to be done in the church?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Where are you doing the work of the church?
Well, I'm doing the work in my own behavior, how I carry myself.
Okay, but the gospel is to be spread the good news. See, and the reason I'm pushing back is when you come in saying about hypocrisy, I want you to understand how easy it is to be a hypocrite.
Right. But I think I don't think it's so much about being a hypocrite. It's like you are who you associate yourself with. So if I associate myself with a bunch of sinners and I go to the church, it's like, what am I really going to get out of it?
Okay, it's not about what you get out, but it's about what you do for it. See, what I'm still hearing is a selfish spirit. I get what you're saying, and you're not wrong, but then what are you willing to do to correct anything, or is it just sit in judgment of what's wrong and worry about yourself?
I think the best thing I could do is control my controllables, which is my behavior, how I interact with people,
So worry about yourself.
What do you want to know?
So worry about yourself.
I think that's where it starts. I think our greatest accountability is with ourselves.
All right, then what about, is there anything about life that's outside of you?
Well, of course.
And I'm challenging you because you said you're a God-fearing man. If you said you weren't a believer, then we wouldn't have this conversation. But
I'm a believer, but is it just a Christian church for black people, or is it the Jewish,
Well, I don't know what God you said you believe in. You said God. What God do you believe in?
Well, I believe that we were created. We're obviously designed.
Okay.
We're not just here. I think I don't believe in the Big Bang Theory, like we all just randomly here.
Do you have any? So as a God-fearing man, is there a religious system that you adhere to, like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddha?
Well, I grew up Coptic Christian, which is Ethiopian Orthodox from Trinidad.
Do we have any responsibility to other people of our faith? Come on, man.
I think holding them accountable, sure. Holding ourselves accountable, holding others.
So we have no responsibility to anybody. So just us and God, and just take care of ourselves. We don't really worry about anything else.
I mean, give me an example. What else can I?
What I mean is, you came in talking about hypocrisy, and I'm seeing the hypocrisy in what you're saying. I'm not doubting. See, we don't get anywhere with men who say these kind of things, or people who say these things can point the finger and say that's the problem. Okay, granted, there's the problem. It needs to be fixed. But if we are the God-fearing Christian or God-fearing men, we have something outside of our selfish lives to do something. And this is one of the problems I see in the black community. Money making is a social activity. Success is shared. Too many of us are just worried about taking care of our own stuff while pointing at the problem in the other stuff. We're the only group that act like we have no responsibility to each other except ourselves. And this is God-fearing people.
I mean, do you want me knocking on doors and preaching the word?
I want you to do some work, and I want you to do some work so you won't be the hypocrite you were talking about. That's all.
I agree.
All right. Because when I hear hypocrite, I hear hypocrite all the time. But we can't be hypocritical in pointing out hypocrisy.
Well, the church crowd has changed now.
Okay,
what I'm saying
okay.
is, like, people go to church just to repent.
Okay, but you're But you're part of the church too. You're part of the faith. You said you're a God-fearing man. That's you too.
Right.
And as long as we see
But
that
do I
church,
have to go to church to
okay,
do God's
okay,
work?
then you don't want to see anything. The only way things change for the better is if people do it.
Mhm.
And if it's always going to be somebody else other than us, that's part of the hypocrisy. I don't care how the church has changed. I get it. It's not where it's supposed to be, but but it's for us to do something, not just point it out. Or are you part of the problem or part of the solution? That's really what it comes down to in any of this stuff. That's what it comes down to, all of us. And as men, this is where our women tend to fail and have lack of respect for us, because we can diagnose the problem, but then when it's time to do the work, we're like, I'm just worried about myself. Well, okay, well then, cool. But you don't build. But you can only build 2 hands, 2 feet, 1 head. You can't build nothing. You can't build a tower by yourself. It's getting loud out here. Appreciate it though. Get back and forth.
I really was, you know, not prepared for this conversation with Kevin. I think Kevin definitely spanked me on this conversation. Pause, right? Belt to ass on this conversation. Because I came in there calling people hypocrites and this and that, but who am I to judge? I wasn't even somebody that was even really talking about what I knew about Christianity at the time. I really didn't, I didn't, all I knew was the people that I seen going to church, they weren't good people. Right? I seen people do horrible things outside of church and then go to church on Sunday to repent for those horrible things. And that's all I could see at the time. Right? And so when he pushed back on a lot of the things we were saying, I didn't really have a good answer for him. All I can say is hypocrite, 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 hypocrite. And he's looking at me like, bro, you're the hypocrite. And you know what? He was right. He was right. He said that, I need to do the work. We can't just point the finger and blame. We need to do the work. And he's right. And this is why I feel so great about what I'm doing now. And I didn't do this specifically because Kevin Samuels told me to do this. He told me this 4 years ago. Right? 4 years ago he said this. And I only started doing work like this, but coincidentally, like I said, 6, 7, 8 months ago. Right? Towards the end of, the last quarter of last year, 2024. And so, what a great spirit Kevin was, because even though I was wrong, I wasn't rude. Therefore, he wasn't rude to me. I mean, there's times I overtaught them, and so, he definitely pushed back and he controlled the show. But we had a good discussion, and so I was really happy when he said, good talk, good back and forth. I'm glad I was able to provide some discussion for the show and be somewhat entertaining for him to say, you know what, man, I'm glad I had you on the show. And it's sad that we lost such a great person, man. I think Kevin's work is undone. And I'm going to be real with you. I don't think I could do Kevin Samuels' work. I just did not have the life experience he had. He had a wealth of experience that I don't have. He had a purview of the church that I don't have. All I could do is do what I can do. I could just be the best shape I could be. I can't beat Kevin Samuels. So I know a lot of people come here, they're looking for the replacement. There is no replacing Kevin Samuels. He is the Godfather. I even referred to him as the Godfather while he was alive. That's how much respect I put on his name, because I used to watch his show every day. Every day he had a show. The night before he died, I was watching the show. I was like, literally, I'd be like, because his show would run mad late, so I'll be in bed just playing his live stream. And just like, you know what I'm saying, like relax, just like listening, and I learned a lot, man. I won't even lie to you. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about what we should expect from women, what we should expect from ourselves. Kevin Samuels died too soon because he was starting to work on his health, but he never really got there. This is something I have that Kevin Samuels didn't have. I'm plant-based. I'm a personal trainer. I've been plant-based for the last 9 years. Kevin had cancer. I think John Hopkins lymphoma he had, which is kind of, he said he had a tumor the size of a foot inside his abdomen. So he had severe surgery when he was in high school. I mean, in college. I had heart disease when I was in college. The difference between me and Kevin probably continued his unhealthy lifestyle that might have created his cancer. I changed mine. When I got diagnosed with heart disease and the doctor told me, I don't know what caused this, You know, that wasn't good enough for me. What do you mean you don't know what causes? And they told me I had a 50-50 chance to live. I remember I can remember it like yesterday. Like, I'm in a doctor's office and they told me I have a 50-50 chance to live, and I'm just like, tears just come running down my face uncontrollably. You know, here I am, 25 years old, and I'm told I got a 50-50 chance to live. I mean, what is this, Russian roulette? Here's 2 bullets in a gun. The gun only has 2 chambers. You know, we're going to spin it, and the 50 chances we're going to kill you, 50 chances you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I felt like. Like, what? Like, it was scary, bro. But the fact that the doctor said I did not know, I decided from that day on that I'm going to figure this out. And I was fortunate enough to figure it out. Kevin Samuels, unfortunately, wasn't fortunate enough to figure it out. But I grew up in a time where there's YouTube, and I learned a lot on YouTube. I went binging for information. I was just intellectually curious. Other people just think their view on health is there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I got cancer because I was unlucky. They're not going to tell themselves, I ate my own cancer, I ate my own disease, the way I told myself I ate my heart disease. Therefore, I was able to control the fact that I didn't have that. I could control the factors that led to that disease. And so now, the way I eat and live my lifestyle now produces nothing but health. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor, you know, was just astounded by, like, how great my blood health is. My blood health is, you know, it challenges, you know, 1980s Chinese people in rural China. Like, I have better health numbers than the rural Chinese back in the 1980s. There was a study done on China versus America. And I'm talking about all this because I think it's important for people to understand that health, without health, you have nothing. Like, all of us are trying to do something. We're trying to do a job. We have a mission. We have a purpose. Let me tell you something. Your number one purpose is keeping yourself alive. That's before all other things. You know, Kevin Samuels telling me I need to do something for people other than myself. That's exactly what he did. He spent time doing work for everyone but himself, and then he lost his life because he wasn't taking care of himself. You can see right there, he has, you know, and he used to have the Red Bull can, but then, you know, he's like, people were making fun of him, so now he just had a glass of it, but he's still drinking Red Bull, and Red Bull's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but Red Bull wasn't the only issue. The issue, he needed the Red Bull because he was tired, because his body was probably filled with all the toxins he was eating, and it was draining his energy. And then the Red Bull would just mask your fatigue. It wouldn't actually take away the fact that it wouldn't change the fact that you had toxins in your body. It added another toxin to your body and hid the fact that it hid the effects of the toxin, which is making you sleepy, right? Red Bull will use a lot of caffeine, guanine, or whatever the other enes inside there to kind of make you more alert, but it was not healthy. You know, and I really can't stress to people how important health is, right? I eat plants, vegetables, fruits, and I drink water. You know what I'm saying? It's not the hardest thing. You know, you want to eat more God-made food than man-made food. All the man-made food that people eat, most people, if you do an accounting of how much food you eat a day, that's made by man or made by God. And I guarantee you, 98% of the food you eat is made by man. They're processed, they're packaged, they got barcodes, they got nutrition labels. Me, 90% of the food I eat doesn't have no nutrition label because they're produce. And I want to go into this more in greater detail, but, you know, it's beyond the scope of this conversation. I just wanted to revisit something that someone said in my comments, like, yo, you got to go find that Kevin Samuels video. I found it. Here it is. And I haven't watched this in 4 years. I haven't seen it. You know, I forgot. You know, I had to go looking for it, and it wasn't easy, but I remembered some of the things about the video. I was able to find it, so thank the Lord I was able to find it. But, yeah, I haven't seen this myself in a long time. So this is kind of refreshing for me as well. But like I said, I can't stress to you guys, no matter what your mission, your purpose in life, I think the number one priority for you and for everybody is to keep yourself alive. And you're only going to do that by eating living food. Living God-made food. Okay? That's my personal opinion. Anyway, I just wrapped up my my ebook, Be Attractive and Shut Up. It is done. It's complete. It's done. It's done. It's done. I'm excited about it. I'm happy about it. I'm going to get that to you guys very shortly. Thank you for everyone that's patiently waiting. This is a great, great moment because now I can offer you guys more value outside of these videos, and you can see a one-on-one experience with me when you read the ebook, which, by the way, it's free. It's a free ebook. And I talk about my own experiences with women, the fact that I did have a lot of successful women, but I also did get rejected a lot. And so this book is meant to help people who want to understand and master dating. Okay, and if you're going to master dating, you need a strong sense of awareness, and this book is going to make you aware of the dating realm that we're in right now and how you have to move as a man. And I think it's important because dating is going to be one of the most challenging things you do. And I assume that most people that come to my channel, that are in the comments, that are subscribed, we all have the same pain point. Women are a pain point. Women, money, health, they're all pain points, right? And so this book's kind of giving into the relationship side of things and how there's problems in our lives, and we all kind of we share a kind of common interest in that. And hopefully the book will be able to just make you aware of things and improve you when it comes to dating almost immediately. You know, I took the time out to write the book, many hours, and I think I definitely achieved its objective of helping men. So this book is going to be very helpful to you, and it's free. It's free to you, okay? So be on the lookout for that. When it comes out, I'm going to mention it to you guys, but I'm just glad to say that it's done right now. Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel blowing up. I appreciate you guys. Kevin Samuels will be happy right now knowing that we're having this conversation. We're talking about God. We're talking about improving ourselves. We're holding ourselves accountable. We're doing the work. I am doing the work. I'm finally doing the work. So rest in peace to Kevin Samuels, Godfather, the greatest to ever do it in the manosphere. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out some other videos, and I'll see you guys over there.